All Buckety Bucks appearing on today's show are brought to you by the Trustmark VIP Gallo guest line. And by the way, our SuperTalk C-Spire text line is at 601-879-4395. And on the phone, it is the U.S. Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith. Good morning, Cindy. How are you, ma'am?
Good morning, Paul. We are very good. Just hard at it, I assure you.
I think when you look at what has the Senate has to even consider on the stimulus bill, I wanted to tackle that one first. The Democrat Party has become I think as sinister as a third world dictator. We've not learned, we have learned since yesterday that the House Democrats' bill, this coronavirus bill, the language, there's so many loopholes in here. There is a voter ID requirement that takes the voter ID requirement out, allowing people to cast ballots without even having to prove who they are in here. So have you had a chance to look this thing over?
I tell you, I have, and it is totally amazing. You know, why it's called a COVID bill, I'm not sure. And the fact that they want to roll back the Trump tax cuts in it. But, yeah, it would eliminate ID requirements as a condition of obtaining a ballot. I mean, it is very clear that you won't get a ballot unless it eliminates the ID requirement. And, the bailout for the union-run multi-employer pension plan, so much of it. And then the business owners that sell marijuana, all kind of benefits for them. I think marijuana is mentioned, or cannabis is mentioned 68 times in the bill.
No kidding. I haven't seen
times.
that. Unbelievable.
Yeah. It is absolutely crazy how they're trying to use that to get everything the Democrats have ever wanted in their life.
Well, is it that one, or is it the fact that we understand the president? He's already said that he would veto this if it cleared the Senate, which it will not. Thank God for the Senate and for Mitch McConnell. But there are a lot of us who think they knew that this wasn't going to pass, and it was designed for failure.
Oh yeah, and it may pass the Senate. She's going to force a vote on it tomorrow, but it truly is just a liberal wish list, and they know it will never become law.
Wait a minute. You said you think it would pass the Senate?
The House. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The House.
You scared me a little bit there.
Tomorrow.
Okay, go ahead.
And it may pass the House, but it's not going anywhere in the Senate. But to call it a Heroes Act, it's a slap in the face to the real heroes that have been fighting COVID-19. It truly is. So, it is what it is. We're going to certainly cut it off when it gets to the Senate and try to restore something reasonable. We have been very busy working on that, because the third phase of this COVID-19 bill, it did have some hiccups in it. Mm-hmm. And we knew we would have to go back and straighten those things out. But, I've heard from state and local governments and municipalities, the mayors that are talking about, that truly did not address all of their needs. And so that's the things that we're working on right now, some liability protection for small businesses that we know the trial lawyers are, lined up waiting for. So, the serious stuff that we truly need to go back and address, I'm working very hard on right now with Senator Cassie, my neighbor from Louisiana. We're trying to make sure that we provide state, local, tribal governments the things that they need to help, avoid significant layoffs and, interruption of those essential services that we have to have there. But, we're looking at dividing it up 3 different ways: by population, by the infection rates of COVID-19 and revenue losses. So the true things that would address the needs that we have right now, but funding that would go directly to cities and counties. And, of course, the states would receive their shares separately from that, but based on the need. And, Mississippi has just really been in a position that with the third phase of our relief acts that we fell under population levels that were intended for New York to start with. So we've got to address that. But we returned on May the 4th, and, we're going to work until Memorial Day recess. We've had confirmation hearings and things that, are what I call mission critical for nominees like the Director of National Intelligence, the Treasury Department, Inspector General, those people that we have to have right now to conduct the things that we need to be done. So we're very serious about our work.
Are you, in a day-to-day basis, as far as what goes on, you see it on the television, the local channels there, the network channels, does the average senator or House member pay a lot of attention? Is it all-consuming as far as what is going on with the unmasking, with General Flynn? How much of that is the buzz? And I would imagine it's quite a bit, but how much in your world is that buzz permeate just about every conversation?
Well, it's a small percentage because we do have such a task at hand in front of us. But like last night, I had dinner with Marsha Blackburn, Susan Collins, Deb Fisher from Nebraska, Kelly Offer from Georgia. A lot of the ladies we got together last night, and because we had the opportunity to. Of course, we did the social distancing and those things. But Michael Flynn obviously came up pretty regular in the conversation. But we are so overwhelmed with the ridiculous Nancy Pelosi bill coming out of the House. That's pretty much dominating everything. And, staying focused on what the true needs are. And we definitely are discussing everything else that comes up. But, we are following the guidelines. We're wearing masks, on the floor. In the meetings where I'm an appropriations subcommittee chairman. So there's not that many of us on the Appropriations Committee that are subcommittee chairmen, but we sit, the distance apart, and we take all these precautions that everybody, in the country is going to have to start taking consistently. But, we just feel like we need to be showing folks that we're doing the same thing because we do want to be safe.
Yeah.
Washington, D.C. is kind of in a hot spot. So, Betty, getting on every train to go into the Capitol or every doorknob, every handle, we are being extremely careful. We've got a lot of members that are in their 80s, and, we're getting on airplanes, and because of the limited flights, we're going through 2 and 3 airports to get here. So, I think that we have stepped up and we're doing what we are supposed to be doing, but totally focusing on the COVID-19 relief. That's what.
Let me ask you. First, I don't know this. I'm guessing they are. Most of the Smithsonian's are closed and have been closed for a while, or do you know?
Oh yes,
our
office
closed.
Buildings are closed. We have like one entrance, and you pretty much have to be with staff or a member. And we very skeleton staff in my office and everybody else's office. D.C. still looks like a ghost town. There's no taxi cabs running around, so it's really difficult to get places. The limited Ubers, you have to walk, and you have to wait for a while. So literally, I'm walking most everywhere I go, which I'm getting my steps in. So I'm not complaining at all. The weather's pretty nice here.
I got to ask you a couple of other things here. I wanted to ask you about the Yazoo pumps, anything happening on that, and a couple of other things, if you could hold on. Also, a section on page 1,211 of this Pelosi 1,815-page HEROES Act, which is a slap in the face, calls for providing assistance to help develop strategies for lesbians, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer LGBTQ youth, end quote. A lot of things in this bill other than COVID-19. Back with more coming up. Let's get back. Again, all Muckety Mucks appearing at Trustmark VIP Gallo guest line. The U.S. Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith with me. I wanted to ask you about the Yazoo pumps. Just any update on that, any conversation, any buzz going on, anything happening in any of the committees in Washington?
Well, things are happening. The buzz is kind of quiet because it's obviously the conversation there's COVID. But, the National Register, the Corps of Engineers had entered entries into the Federal Registry to address the intent, which was huge. There hadn't been anything entered into that registry since 2008. So we are going in a very good direction there. And, the conversations, the meetings that we're having now are still, it's not, the conversation is, let me tell you how bad we need these. The conversation now is, what is the game plan? What's the timeline to complete this? So I feel very good about this. Like I said before, I don't know of anything I've worked any harder on than the pumps when I first got here, and we're continuing to do that. And, we have so many homes flooded that are still flooded. And I'm very excited about the direction that that's going in, because right now it's like how we're going to do it rather than if we're going to do it.
Do you think that changes a little bit if in November 5th we find out it's a pending Joe Biden administration?
I think that I think we would still be secure. Of course, to be honest with you, Paul, I sure get a lot of help with the president on a lot of things,
mm-hmm.
and that's a big security there. But I think this is going to go forward because the EPA, the Corps of Engineers, they're working together to get us there, and I really don't think that would change. Like I said, we have a lot of benefits. Yeah, we have a lot of benefits with the administration that we have now, but we're to that advanced stage of going in that direction. They're not going to come in gunning for Yazoo pumps in Mississippi. They're just not. I don't see that anybody would do that. They would have so many other things on their mind of, with their liberal agendas, that hopefully that would not be a target. So I feel pretty good about this.
Well, also we have a pretty good contact with the chief of staff of the EPA now, and Mandy Gunasakara,
yes.
Gunasakara. So that's,
yes.
And she was on with me earlier this week. Cindy,
yes.
Thank you so very much. For point of clarification, one more time, the Senate is going to probably get, by Monday, or I'm not sure, maybe this weekend. I have no idea when you guys will get it after it passes the House tomorrow. We're talking about the $3 trillion additional package, the HEROES Act. But the game plan, again, for the Senate in preparing their own plan and marching forward with it is that in formation now? What's the status of that?
I truly don't think we will even get close to a vote until June
mm-hmm.
on the Nancy Pelosi thing. Of course, here we are mid-May, so we're not talking a long time, but it's going to be a battle. We've got to go through the battles to win the war, and once we get our own plan rolled out there, that we're very close to doing. Like I said, I have been, you're going to hear a whole lot more about what we're calling a SMART Act,
mm-hmm.
and that is the plan that we're going to take care of the small businesses, and it's the State and Municipal Aid for Recovery Transition Fund that we're working on. But it's not going to be, it's not going to be late summer for sure, but it's not going to be next week.
I got you.
We're going to come back, and because that's just kind of the way this process works.
Will it also be?
Bill.
I'm sorry. Will it also be kind of infrastructure put into there, or are we talking about the infrastructure as part of this concept or part of this bill?
It's a huge conversation right now.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that. We don't know if that will be put in there at the end, but it is a big conversation right now, and it's certainly a conversation worth having.
Yes.
I know it is in Mississippi, and I know it's important to Mississippi, and but we're totally focusing on COVID-19.
I got you. All-consuming. Cindy Hyde-Smith, thank you so very much, and I always thank you for taking the time, ma'am.
Oh, anytime. I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you, Paul.
Stay safe. Cindy Hyde-Smith in Washington, D.C., and again, it'll be Memorial Day before